We grew up cooking Italian food every Sunday and visiting Italy and telling everyone we were Italian. Well, my great-grandmother, on her deathbed, confessed that it was actually Polish and that she had slept with a Polish Jew and she was embarrassed of it. And so she took the Z out. It's DeSuta, which is really common. Polish name is D-A-S-Z-U-T-A. So she took it out and passed us off as Italian, and then she didn't die. So we got to give her shit about it for the next, 10 years.
I love it. I love it. So,
I'm like, do you have that on film?
yeah, so, and we're keeping it in there. Welcome to our wine show today. I'm Quattro Kowalski, also Polish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
The vibes.
Andrew Holbrook, and as y'all just heard, this is Daniela DeSuta. Daniela is our guest today for Rosé-All-Day. Daniela, please tell us a little bit about yourself beyond the name.
Sure, beyond the mystery of the name. I'm not Italian. I actually got into the wine world about 13 years ago. My dad was in the military, but my mother always wanted to do her own thing. She was an entrepreneur. And, well, this is off to a good start.
Yeah.
Can't take you anywhere.
So we moved to Texas to start a vineyard, actually. So
Really?
Yep. We used to own the vineyard at Florence, in Florence, Texas. And
Keeping with the Italian.
No, I'm serious. We thought we were Italian, so we modeled it off of Florence, Italy. It looks. Have you been there?
Many times.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
many times. It looks like a bit of Italy, and so I planted grapes as a kid and
Sweet.
got into the business. Came here to UT and then eventually went back to work for them and have had many jobs in the industry.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're stoked to have you here.
Thank you.
Stoked to taste some rosés.
Should we jump into it?
Yeah, I think so. So,
Yeah.
being so hot summer in Texas, we decided that rosé would be super appropriate to go to. And what is this first one we're drinking?
Chateau Latour de l'Evêque Provence Rosé 2019. It's a Provence rosé, probably, I would say, the most classical style of rosés. Brief overview of Provence. It's in southern France, from the Mediterranean Ocean going north. If you've heard of the cities, Nice and Cannes, maybe Marseille in that general area. Coastal climate, and I think we've talked about this on other episodes, but why coastal climate's important. We get nice cooling effect from the ocean. Probably you know more about it than I do.
I'm just here to drink.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Let's jump into it.
This is a good little icebreaker.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this style actually popularized, or this region popularized the style of dry rosés, whereas before, kind of talking here in the U.S., sweet, like blushes, that they were the thing.
White Zinfandel, baby.
White Zinfandel, baby. Yeah, I mean, we're still drinking a lot of that, but I think Provence is one of the only regions, if not the only region, that said, we're gonna kind of make our name on rosés, whereas every other region kind of says, oh, and we also have a rosé, by the way. So when you think of Provence, you think of rosé, and you think of dry rosé. It's normally quaffable, meaning it's a porch pounder.
Mm-hmm.
Porch pounder, beach pounder.
This is
Beach.
Beach pounder.
Because we're at the beach right now.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
there we go.
Yeah, it's just a tasty little wine. It's not much to think about sometimes in these rosés. Like, you've had really complex Provençal rosés. They're kind of few and far between, honestly. And these are
For me, the
easy.
signature is like just like you said, just clean and crisp, and like not a whole lot to it, and like
You
easy
can-
to drink.
yeah.
You
Yeah.
can drink a lot of them. I was thinking about when do I like to drink rosés? Well, it's, at the beach, at the pool. When I don't want a beer
Yeah.
or anything harder than that, a nice crisp rosé is awesome. This guy, sorry to interrupt, has been known to show up to pool parties with
A la Magnum.
rosé.
Which one?
Oh, you name
All of it?
Yeah.
Whispering Angel?
No. Usually Provence rosés.
Okay, okay.
That's
But-
my pool party.
There's no,
AAX. That's
yeah.
a huge format.
he's coming to party when he shows up with a big magnum of rosé.
Nice.
Maybe this weekend? Let's do it.
I
Hey,
mean,
what-
maybe this afternoon
Yeah, maybe this afternoon.
or later today.
Depends on how much we drink. I'm down. Yeah, it's easy. It's just fun to drink. And I think it also is a good point that rosés kind of marry a white lover's dream and a red lover's dream. You're like, well, what am I going to get for the table when I don't know what to pair? These are really pairable wines. You can go with a darker meat or like a quail or pork or something, and then you can go light like seafood. So it's
Yeah.
nice in that respect.
I have a nerd question. Provence, if you call it Provence wine, is
Yeah.
the varietals regulated?
Yes.
Do you know them?
Yes.
Let it rip.
There's a bunch of them actually,
There are.
because kind of southern, southeastern France, there's just a smorgasbord of things, but the main varieties are Grenache Noir, Cinsault, some Syrah there, and Mourvèdre. Oh, yeah. There's a bunch though. It goes on forever.
So, Daniela, how do you make a rosé? Like, what I understand, our audience may understand how to make a white wine and how to make a red wine. You
Yeah.
have red grapes and green grapes, but I don't ever see any pink grapes, really. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, so there are several ways to make a rosé, but all rosés are made from predominantly red grapes.
Okay.
They're, in very rare cases, sometimes the red and white are mixed, but that happens more in like sparkling wines. Here in Texas, they do it a lot, actually. I've seen that. But it's not very common. The main way is really to crush red grapes, and actually before the wine sits in contact with the skins for too long, and that makes a red, you
Got it.
bleed them off and you take them off the skin, so that's just a pale
Nice.
pink.
Is that
Yeah.
Saunier?
Saunier it means like bleeding, right?
Yeah.
Bleed. So that's when you're kind of making a red wine in general, and you bleed off some of the wine to make a deeper, richer red.
Got
So
it.
you have like part of it for rosé and part of it for red. So you can do that too. There's several different ways and styles. I think with Provence, because the goal is to make a rosé and not a red, they're just doing light skin contact and then discarding the skins and not using them for reds in most cases.
I dig it.
Yeah.
So, can there be? I guess my question is there a certain amount of time consistently that they pull them off? Like, or do you have different years with different colors or different shades, I guess?
It depends on the producer. Like in small producers, the colors might vary because they're trying to create vintage variation and intrigue.
Got
But if
it.
they're a large brand, they want consistency,
Sure.
and they don't want like something to be a different color, because then consumers go, well, my Whispering Angel is like, dark red this year. I don't trust it. So they'll probably sit in contact for like 6 to 8 hours or less. In Provence, they're typically really pale and paler than most. So when you see a really pale rosé from a different region, they're often trying to mimic.
Makes
Provence.
sense.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes with what we talked about in other episodes about, or what I've talked about. I'll claim this one. How Old World is more subtle, refined, elegant, and New World is a little more bombastic, in your face. It kind of plays along with that theme, wouldn't you say? Or you
yeah.
can shoot me down. That would be
Shoot
cool.
him down.
So I've stopped using Old World, New World because I have found that a lot of New World producers are trying to be an Old World style. So I like I don't know. I like warm climate versus cool climate, or it's a lot of it's producer driven. I do agree that the overarching style is higher alcohol, bigger fruit, and
Sure.
from like the New World.
Right.
But they have warmer climates typically. And then the New World the Old World's a little bit more restrained. But yeah, I think like it's just so producer driven within the category.
That was a really nice way to disagree with me. I like
was
that.
being very diplomatic.
So once again, we've made her talk too much, so she can't drink enough.
Oh yeah.
Let's
let's
move
up.
on,
You want to go to the next one?
please.
I got the proverbial hole in my glass already.
Oh God. Gotta keep up with you guys.
You can do it.
We have
Right.
faith.
All right, there it is.
You did good. You want to show us how this is done?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So the next one, Chateau Vivant Bandol Rosé.
I'm excited about this one.
Yeah, Bandol's in Provence, like
It's a sub-region.
sub-region of Provence. We happen to know on this rosé 100% Mourvèdre.
Okay.
Did
Yeah.
I pour
I
this
would imagine.
heavier?
Yes.
I think I did.
What else can I tell you about this? Direct pressing.
Delicious.
I'm gonna guess so. Other thing I know is not natural fermenting on this. They induced
So,
fermentation at 15 degrees Celsius.
so we didn't really comment on the last color, but this looks a little more salmon-ish, and it could
Orangey,
be my
Yep.
my shades, but
Yeah, these aren't helping. It's purple.
Yeah, so this region is so freaking cool, and I wish more people drank Bandol, and specifically Bandol Reds. I think like the rosés you definitely get, and they're delicious. But Mourvèdre is it's such a cool grape. It ages so well. It smells like animal and barnyard and just dirty things that I'm not selling it very well. But in this case, you can kind of smell some of that animalistic rusticity that,
funkiness.
yeah, it's
Funk.
a little
Yeah,
funky.
funk.
Yeah.
And I like that.
On the funk.
I don't want it to just be boring and fruit and flowers and just whatever. I want there to be some sort of weird, like, oh, I have to take it. What is that?
I actually have to turn the brain on a little bit for this one. Mm-hmm. And there's a slight bit of effervescence there.
Yeah, it's acidic, so there's a pop to
Yeah.
it for sure. There's electricity, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Ooh, this is fun.
This is
now
good.
we're getting
yeah,
started.
Yeah, I like this. This is a good number 2.
Who does number 2 work for? For us.
What?
That was
What?
a terrible joke. Sorry. Austin Powers?
Oh,
Oh,
sorry.
God.
this is lost on us.
Yeah, sorry.
My dad
I'm not
joke,
old enough for those jokes.
my dad joke game is just through the roof these days.
Oh, mine is too, but can you do a different one next
Yes,
time?
absolutely.
Great. This almost tastes salty too. Like it's.
For me, this is salt and peaches. I don't know if that makes
I like it.
any sense, but
There's almost like thorny plant in there too. I know that sounds very odd.
Well, I think that's a bit of the texture, or kind of like the electricity, kind of.
Prickling your
Yeah.
palate.
Look at that alliteration.
yeah.
Nice
It's like
work.
you've done this before.
God.
There's some minerality there too, right?
The
Like-
poetics come out after
Yeah,
the
yeah.
first glass.
I can't wait for the last glass.
Oh God.
I can't wait for
Slurry.
the sunglasses. Hey!
Oh yeah, those are
God.
coming on really soon.
Let's see if I got any nerdy stuff. So they tried to use, the vineyard tries to use traditional cultivation. So the only spraying that they do is natural product for mildew and those kind of things. No insecticides, none of that business.
Nice.
For me, I feel like the more that people go in those methods, the more of that funk starts to come through.
The
Like
terroir, if you will.
when they start using pesticides.
No, when they allow nature to do its thing, I feel like you just get more flavors, more of the weirdness, more of what Mother Nature actually produced.
I agree. But in a good way. I mean, sometimes people don't like an earthiness or whatever, but I like salt and just I don't want just fruit. It's so boring. Like, if there's a dimensionality to it, it's far more interesting.
If it makes you pause
Yeah.
and kind of consider it, I think it's one.
Absolutely.
What's the wine we had on the last show that we were both did this?
Yeah.
What was it? Was it
It
Chardonnay?
was a Chardonnay from the Margaret River.
The
Caradale region, Caradale region.
Yeah, it was an Australian
Yeah,
chard.
it was same thing, and it was produced in kind of the same method, like as natural as possible.
So, talk to me. You said saltiness. This is a little, I would say, briny. I would think some raw oysters would go just perfect with this. I mean,
That's a great idea.
Clark's, if you're watching the show, please
And you want to
send
sponsor us?
3 dozen oysters and 700 Rio Grande.
12 Rivers Realty
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
God, that would be amazing.
Well, we are at the beach.
We
So
are
we
at the
could just
beach.
go in the water.
We are
and
at
grab
the beach and grab our own oysters from here.
Well, actually, I think this is Fiji, and Fiji doesn't really have oysters. We'd have to
Okay.
go maybe to.
Quattro, what are you doing?
Oh yeah, we can go to another beach.
Nice. Let's go to
Now.
Nice.
There we go, and we're in Nice.
Bonjour, monsieur.
I was waiting for some
Here we
French stuff. I don't know any French.
We could just be in Bandol.
There we go.
I mean, that's probably the most obvious.
Do you know, looking at a map, does Bandol go to the ocean?
It's farther, a little farther inland, but it's,
Yeah,
it's
north,
so. I mean,
right?
it's all so close. It's
Yeah.
literally right on the water.
Yeah.
But that, I mean, man, it's so beautiful.
Have you been?
Cliffs looking over.
You've been? Oh.
I know. Worst.
Somebody told me in Bandol, like, some of the vineyards are terraced there, like, because it's pretty steep. And
And so
yeah.
so steep. And it's just beautiful.
Okay, number 2 is number 1 so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I think
Absolutely. Oh wow.
Hit me up.
I'll.
This is a theme of the show.
Well,
Like,
hey, we've got more to taste.
I know you do,
No, but
Oh.
he's got a.
but I don't want y'all to feel.
Oh, I could have poured it for you since we
That's
know
okay. I'm a big boy.
I do a better job at that.
Yeah, that's awesome. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
I don't know. So 100% Mourvèdre. We grow a lot of that here in Texas too, don't we?
We do. Yes, because it's really particularly well suited to warmer climates. And the south of France, I mean, you're thinking probably one of the warmest climates. And yeah, it just withstands heat really well. It's really tasty. It still retains, I get like meatiness and funkiness on some Texas Mourvèdres for sure. Have you guys had like aged red Bandol before?
No.
No. Is it good?
Okay, first of all, yes. I'll plug my previous job,
Go for it.
Westwood's Liquor. There's a 98 Bandol
Ooh.
that I brought in. And there's another one that's actually, I can't remember whether it's 95 or 90. Those wines are so affordable for what they are. They're old as hell, and they're still way cheaper than anything else you're going to get. And they last. You could lay those puppies down for another, I don't know, 20, 30 years.
Well, that Bandol that I brought in, the Bandol Rosé that we had, it was 2015, was it?
Yeah.
And it was a rosé,
Okay.
5-year
It was-
rosé.
Yeah.
Still holding
really,
up.
Was it really dark?
It was getting that way, I
Okay.
think.
But it was funky.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's still holding up though. Like,
Sure, actually, it drank really well. It was one of those where, sorry, spitting all over the place.
Can't give me the virus, man.
I know. The alcohol kills it.
yeah.
But it was funky.
What's like really like the oldest rosé? I mean, you had an old rosé before. People don't
Yeah.
lay rosés down.
Well, yes and no. 99.9%, whatever. of all rosés are meant to be consumed within like 1 to 2 years. You can, maybe 3. It just depends. There are some producers that make age-worthy rosés, which is such a weird concept when you think about it. Because what is that, a 19? Yeah, I mean those are really young. But Bandol is one of those things. This is actually pretty atypical for some better producers out of Bandol. Not to say that that's not a really good producer, but the iconic producers like Chateau Pradot, Pibernon, they're making like unicorn rosés that like they last for, I don't know, I don't want to say but probably over around 5+ years. You can kind of lay them down and they'll evolve because they're darker. They have more of like a tannin structure, and tannins preserve wine. So they'll start evolving in the bottle. The whole purpose of an early drinking rosé, it emanates fruit and flowers. And when a wine ages, those things go away. So that's not the point of a rosé. Normally, you drink it immediately because you want to preserve that freshness, whereas some of them are meant to last. There's a few producers like Tondonia, or not Tondonia, but Lopez de Heredia.
Yeah,
they make a really
I've
great.
had that, and it's
I've
older.
never had that.
It's different. It's not this, but it's really good.
Yeah, but those are they're not going to taste like rosés. They're going to drink more like reds.
Yeah.
And I think that's the important distinction. And people go out and they go, oh my God, I'm so excited to try this unicorn rosé. Well, don't pop it and think you're going to get something fresh and vibrant. You're going to get something meatier or texturally different. So that is an important
Things that make you go,
Okay, drink immediately.
Yeah, we've got some other interesting ones.
Should we do another one? Oh, no.
Yeah, do another one.
Okay.
I'm
used
to pounding it now, so.
This one I'm pretty excited about.
Which one are we doing now?
We are doing a wine from a rosé. I'll let you pour again. A rosé from Italy, specifically Mount Etna. Kind of a trendy thing in wine right now.
Sicily, more specifically.
Sicily, more specifically Etna, more specifically the eastern slope of Mount Etna, inside a national park at 800 meters high.
Nice.
So, what I know about Mount Etna, volcanic soil, and really affects the flavor in wine. I feel like you can almost pull out a wine that's maybe not Mount Etna, but certainly on volcanic soil. This is from the Gambino family.
Are they in the mob?
I plead the fifth. I don't know. I don't want to be on camera answering that question. Full organic producer. We'll probably have a later episode where we talk about the difference between organic, sustainability, biodynamic, all of that kind of stuff. I'd love for you to talk a little bit about volcanic soil and what that does to flavors in wine.
Yeah. I did a volcanic soil class, and it was the coolest thing because all of these wines, or the grapes that are grown on volcanic soil, when they make the wine, there's like that elusive M word that everyone hates. It's called minerality. And people love to throw that around, especially wine people, and sometimes people have no idea what they're talking about, while others can kind of pick out characteristics of the soil. So minerality encompasses everything that's like not fruit or veggies or flowers. It's kind of the earth and the soil and the seashells, and so that could manifest as like wet limestone or like dark obsidian or
Interesting.
crumbled whatever loam.
Flint. I don't know.
I'm like naming soil does.
I'm trying to figure out what dark obsidian tastes
But
like.
have you ever smelled a wet dark rock after it rains?
Okay, I get it.
And there's like a slight, like there's almost like a volcanic aspect of it, like a slight smokiness almost, but that's it's not smoke, it's,
right.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
You feel me?
yeah, it's like rock. Wet rock.
This is pretty awesome. For me.
Yeah.
It needs food. For me, immediately, I'm like, there is just...
It's acidic. And this is 100% Norello de Mascalese.
Holy moly.
Just by the way.
The Italian grapes
I just
kill me.
knew that.
That's awesome. I know you
I
do.
just pulled it out. No, I just,
Yeah.
I looked it up. But yeah, it's Norello de Mascalese is really cool because it's just so, it's got a lot of tart cherry and vibrancy and,
That's exactly
and
what it
strawberry
is.
and it's pure red fruit in your face, and that's really what you want from a rosé. You want that red fruit, and I just think it's so cheerful. Like, how are you upset when you drink
When
this?
you say red fruit, you
Yeah.
mean strawberries,
Strawberry,
and
cherry,
cherries, and
cranberries. Yeah.
Raspberries.
Schnozberries taste like schnozberries.
So, what immediately springs to mind for me with this would be a gorgeous camembert or like triple cream, whatever.
Okay.
Come on, please.
Oh, man.
Antonelli's. If you're listening.
I mean,
We would like a spread delivered.
I would do some damage.
Oh.
Yeah. But think of like what people are eating in Sicily, right? It's a lot of seafood. So can you imagine like an
Daniela,
Italian?
tell us what people
Let
are
me
eating
tell you what happens in
Sicily
Italy.
right
Let me tell you because I've studied a lot of it and I self-identify as Italian.
Well, you know
Let me
what?
tell you.
We're in Sicily right now.
We are.
We should,
Mount Etna, actually, right here.
we should go ask some people, hey, you.
Yeah.
Eating.
Yeah, so a grandmother is approaching us. She's home cooked some sort of I don't know, Sicilian dish.
Like seafood or
Yeah.
like pasta al vongole. I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
You're the chef.
Well, after a couple glasses, I thought I knew what I was talking about. The clam pasta. What's that? Pasta al vongole.
I trust you.
I think. Correct me if
Okay.
I'm wrong, but it's good stuff.
Shrimp scampi, like not Red Lobster style, but like how you actually get
Like
it in
Olive
Italy.
Garden?
Not Olive Garden style.
I don't even think
The
I would.
scampi I've had has tomatoes in it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah, but the
are
tomatoes.
subtle.
Yeah, but that like anything tomato based would be so good with that bright acidity, and then you
Yeah.
just have this, and it's just everything. Just,
Maybe some veal with this as well.
oh, okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
I'll get somewhere.
Some
Like-
scalpini or
like-
something.
Okay.
Can we shamelessly ask salt and thyme if you're
We need to get on
Yeah,
this.
yeah, we'll keep it
I mean-
going. We made
No,
a
why
list
don't we
on
have
this show.
snacks?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought.
No, this is a purely drinking show here.
No, I get it, but I
We
would
get there
like,
faster this way.
Yeah.
Whew, this is great.
Yeah, but you smell too that there's in addition to all that red fruit and like the watermelon rind, there's still like a salty, there's like a sea breeze thing.
A brininess as well.
Brininess and like white rock.
Watermelon rind.
You like
I
that?
mean, that's it.
That's
That's
it,
what
right?
it tastes like. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish these up.
All right. Do I need to slam this now?
Yes, you need to slam this one.
Okay.
All right, I'll slam it with you.
Yeah, you're driving me home.
Okay. The fourth and final rosé of the day.
No.
Yeah?
There's one more.
You gonna do it?
No, there's
Are
not.
we gonna do it?
Absolutely.
Are you
There
fucking
is.
kidding me?
Of course.
There is. Here you go.
We can't have a rosé without have a sparkling or a champagne.
Oh,
rosé.
then in that case,
Okay.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Is it champagne?
It is.
Oh, then
Yeah.
by all means,
You'll be okay.
drive me home.
So,
Oh.
I've never said this ever in the history of pouring anybody wine. This wine's from Bulgaria. Never had a wine from Bulgaria. I'm sure you have. I don't know if you have.
I definitely haven't.
What I know about this wine is that it's 100% Cabernet Sauvignon Rosé. To me, that's mind-blowing. Probably not to you as much. It's from the Thracian Valley of Bulgaria. It looks
Where
like
we are
this.
right now.
Yeah, where we are in this beautiful valley with mountains on either side of us.
Actually, Bulgaria is really gorgeous.
I have no idea.
Have you been there?
No, but but
I've
I've
seen
seen
it on the internet.
I've seen it behind us.
You know, it's gorgeous.
It's so gorgeous.
Yeah, so I'm actually the most excited about this wine, other than the Bandol. Wow, they've all been so good.
Ooh.
But this one is just like I'm gonna put my glasses on now because this is the wild card. So now we're getting funky.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So, so Cabernet Sauvignon has this distinctive,
Totally.
weedy quality especially when it's
Wheaty or
Weedy.
weedy?
with a D.
With a D.
Weedy.
Okay.
Like weeds that you pull out of the ground.
Got it.
Right.
Not
Like
THC.
herbal. Is that better? Actually, I don't even like herbal.
That's not helping.
Okay, weedy.
It does not have the
Weedacious.
funkiness of hemp products.
There we go.
It has the weedy qualities of stuff you would pull out
Weeds.
of the ground. Yeah.
Thistle and such.
Thistle?
Thistle. Yeah.
Like milk thistle?
Anyway,
What?
it has a compound in it called pyrazine, which smells like grass or bell pepper or something like that. And you can smell that in this one. I think it's
Yeah.
pretty green, right? And not in a bad way. Just there's a little something extra other than the red fruit.
Pyrazine's
Wow.
the Cab Franc.
Yeah,
Right
same
a-
family.
Right away, this body is.
Bigger than anything we've had,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing.
I never had anything like this.
I
Or
haven't
no
either.
rosé like this for sure.
it's very cool. Bulgaria. Thank you.
Cool as in climate or as in
As
chic?
in just
PHAT fat.
cool.
P-H-A-A-T fat.
As in dope.
As in dope.
Yeah, I would drink this. Right?
Yeah?
I mean,
You are drinking this.
You know,
this is
if
good.
nobody had told me this was 100% cab, I would have guessed that. Because you could tell
Really?
it's like cab's effeminate cousin.
Cab's effeminate cousin.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I mean, it tastes like cab, but not.
Yeah, but not.
like-
But not.
But not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's technical terms.
This is
like
how
these-
technical we are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about, this is a hard question, varietals in Bulgaria? We say cab is normal?
Saparavi,
Wow.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Slow clap.
Merlot. I mean, there's a bunch of weird shit over there. And to be honest, a lot of it isn't making its way here because it's consumed locally. Same thing with like Swiss wines.
Huh. Well, how is the production, like volume-wise? Is it large or is it?
I mean, it's small because
And it's
Bulgaria, it's
When
it's
have
a
you ever
very
had
small
wine
country.
from Bulgaria?
Well, exactly. But I mean, is it relatively new? Like, is it picking up steam?
No, in fact, they've been making wines in Bulgaria, they meaning the Bulgarians, for quite some time. And I say quite some time, it's very vague. I can't tell you. With several hundred years. I mean,
Okay.
there's been a history of winemaking there, but it's just such a small region. And it's locally consumed. So it's really not making its way out of the country very much. It used to be actually more widely consumed than what it is right now, especially in the EU. But
European Union,
right,
for those that
sorry,
don't know that.
yes. But it's kind of within the past probably 50 to 100 years switched to local consumption.
This color is really intriguing as well.
Yeah, a little darker, huh?
And
Because
maybe-
Cab has thicker skins, so you're probably going to get a little bit more color on it naturally.
So they take insults better?
What a terrible, terrible joke.
I mean, I told you they were going to
Hey,
flow.
This is the dad joke episode.
It's actually, I'm going to fist bump you for
Yeah,
that
yeah, that
because
was
I've
good.
got,
Not.
Technically, every joke he tells is a bad joke.
Let me ask you,
yeah.
the taste, the actual feeling in my mouth, this is the longest one by...
Like the finish?
Yeah, I mean, from start to finish, this stays in my mouth for a minute or so.
Yeah.
And I don't find that normal of rosé.
It's more viscous.
Oh, nice word.
Damn.
Yeah, it's 13% ABV, so that's pretty high for, that's like medium plus in the alcohol spectrum, meaning that like the viscosity that you're speaking of is normally related to the alcohol, so you're gonna get that richer, creamier, thicker mouthfeel, and I think that's what people are looking for.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if you are a red drinker, you're going to want something with more oomph, and I think this provides that. Like, I think if anybody's... I hate when people go, I don't drink this, I don't drink that, because every single class that I ever teach, people go, you know, I'm not really a red drinker, I'm not really a white drinker, I don't drink rosés, or I don't drink sparklings, and then they go, well, the one that you poured me, I really liked. And I'm like, well, yeah, because... You're looking for something specific, right? You're looking for... People in the United States are addicted to two things, fat and sugar. So if you can provide that, if you can provide that in a wine, if you can provide not blousiness, but a bigger body or a smooth texture and ripe fruit, then you hooked them. And that's just the bottom line. So I think this provides it. Thank you, Bulgaria, because I think this is what we're all looking for.
So, food pairing. Get this, and put yourself in these shoes.
Okay.
I feel like this would be the perfect wine after a South Texas dove hunt.
Oh.
Where you are grilling the dove that you just shot on an open fire and drinking this wine. Because I think the lightness or the lightness of that meat, along with kind of like the body of this wine and the heat and, you know, dove season's in September, October-ish, I think this would pair perfectly with that.
Who do we plug for dove hunting? King Ranch. Would you kindly send some shotguns in?
I don't know if everybody's familiar with that, but I mean that's.
Oh, I couldn't agree more.
I agree. I'm about to go dove hunting probably on Labor Day. And I think maybe I'll just pick up a bottle of this. They're Miller Lite drinkers, but I think I can switch them over to this Bulgarian rosé. I'll be like, this is catered to your dove hunt.
I think so.
Yeah, no, I think this is great. That or like you hit a wild boar and you're like, oh shit. You gotta do something with it.
Do something.
Pour some Bulgarian
roast it on a
rosé on it. You gotta do something.
You hit a wild boar when you're
something
bird
with it.
hunting. We gotta talk.
You know what I like about your thought though is that this is not a polished wine. This isn't a prim and proper,
No.
perfectly buttoned up rosé. This is a little rustic, a little rough around the edges. It's got something. You're like, well, what is that?
I think though, if you were to bring this to a pool party,
Yeah.
people would be like, yeah, I don't want another glass of that because it doesn't fit that atmosphere. At least for me. Some of the other, like the provincial rosé that we had first, would be better. This is.
I don't want another glass of this. I like it.
Really?
But I need food. Like I don't want to. I want dove.
I mean, it speaks to you, right?
Yeah.
Pregnant pause.
This is like you're trekking through the wilderness and you need a rosé, right?
Trout.
Yeah.
Oh.
After fly fishing.
After fly fishing. See this picture here of me fly fishing recently?
See that small ass fish that he caught? We're gonna have to have quite a few more of those.
Yeah. Each person gets a gram.
Yeah. Here's your forkful. Well, I'm really glad we tasted this because now I can say I had a wine from Bulgaria.
It's fun, isn't it?
Absolutely. This was definitely the wild card. Yeah, this was... I could have another glass of this, but I think it needs...
I lied.
Yeah, I was about to say, I need food. Just kidding.
I need food. I need more rosé.
Man, I get a lot of strawberry on this.
Yeah, if you are going to taste through this, tell me what you're tasting.
Can I smell it too? Can I give you the aromas? as
Just
well?
tasting. Of
Okay.
course you can
Okay.
smell it.
You do you.
It smells like. It smells so freaking green to me. It smells like. Green bell pepper. Underripe strawberry, like not the juicy ones. Like you bite into the one that's too tart in
Yeah.
HEB, you know. Smells a little bit dirty, like
Bulgaria.
there's almost like Bulgarian dirt. Yeah, like Bulgarian manure.
Manure! I hate manure!
On this one, it's a little earthy.
In a good way.
In a good way. All due respect. Well, you asked.
I asked, you shall tell.
The palate's acidic. Like it's like a cranberry. It's got there's a lot of underripe cherry. There's a lot of underripe fruit. I feel like they picked this
Underripe.
early. Yeah, I don't, and that's not a bad thing. You normally do that with rosé grapes. That's the point. But everybody wants to put like, what do they put on the bottle? I love this. Juicy, full body, pomegranate cherry, rose petals. But they don't. Nobody ever mentions the funk. Because people get turned off by it.
It doesn't sell. Yeah.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
It never sells. But I'm here to tell you there is funk on this wine. It's not a bad thing. Please, nobody from Bulgaria shoot me. But I don't want to be assassinated.
I don't think they
But
have guns in. Well, I'll have to check back on that.
Sir.
I won't.
maybe
say
we'll
something
edit
I
that.
don't know.
We'll edit that. out.
Yeah.
Gun-free Bulgaria.
Yeah, I just think it's very interesting. Do I think this is pretty? No, I don't. I don't think this is a pretty wine at all. I think this is a rugged, interesting wine. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Absolutely not.
Well,
I
you
think
just,
this is. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No. I think it's a perfect segue from this ugliness to the beauty that we're about to.
You ready for the beauty?
I'm ready for the beauty.
All right, here comes the beauty. Ladies and gentlemen.
Now that we've shaken it up.
Oh.
You know what this is.
Lallier.
You want to tell us a little bit about it? Do you know?
Sure. So, where did you get this?
We got it.
Oh, so we got.
This is a Parker Wolf thing.
We bought all these wines at Total Wine. So if you are so inclined, please go buy the wines and follow along with us on this video or show, because it is a lot of fun. And this is a really great champagne.
Yeah, so mostly Pinot Noir with a little bit of Chardonnay, a smaller producer, just
You just know that?
No, I read the back of the bottle.
Damn!
So
I
You shouldn't have said it, but you
a split
should have
second
said
I was
yes.
like, oh man, I should just,
Okay, edit this out. Just say yes.
yes.
So
Yes,
a
I
little
do.
tidbit about this wine that I recently found out. This was the first champagne actually brought to the United States
Oh.
Ever?
ever. Now, this brand, not this particular rosé, but Lallier. I think that's about right. I always pour myself in.
Thanks for the surprise.
Oh yeah.
Montreux.
No.
I mean, you can't have a rosé show without having some rosé champagne, in my humble opinion.
What a way to finish.
Okay. Santé.
Cheers, everybody.
Salud.
Oh.
Man,
Holy cow. I don't
Sorry,
want to drink this.
Bulgaria.
I just want to smell
I
it.
know. And it's so, God, it's so great that we had that Bulgarian wine, and now we're having this because we're going from beast to beauty.
Were you always gonna whip that out, or only if you were like,
No, always.
okay? I like this.
Good for you.
I like that you were trying to censor us,
Yeah, I was trying to censor us.
but
Man.
Well, this solidified it.
solidified what?
The Uber that I'm gonna take
Oh,
home.
yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's fantastic.
Oh.
Just fantastic.
When a wine makes all three of us do that, that's a good thing, you know?
This is where you're going to find me for the rest of the day, just chilling.
Now,
If we could superimpose you lounging in a
You can
beach
take a
chair,
picture later.
Yeah. We would do that.
I'll send you a picture.
now number 5 is number 1.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to bring rosé champagne into the mix, how fair is it really?
Well,
Bring on the white zin.
yeah.
My mouth is terrible at residual sugar.
Yeah.
You have any residual sugar in this?
Yeah. 8 grams per liter.
Did you know that off the top of your head?
No, I just guessed.
Yeah.
Wow.
So here's my thing. When you see brut
Yeah.
and extra brut and all
Yeah.
of this
Yeah.
on champagne bottles,
Right.
is there like legal limits
Yes.
to dosage
Yes.
as how you can define these things? I'm not
Yes.
expecting you to know those.
I do. It's 0 to 6, 0. No, I'm sorry. 0 to 3, 0 to 6, 0 to 12, and then it goes up from there. So brut is 12 grams per liter or less of residual sugar.
Is extra brut a thing?
Extra brut is a thing.
So what does that mean in terms of flavor?
Well, okay. So champagne is so acidic that you need, in a lot of cases, some sugar to balance out the acidity. Think of lemonade.
Sure.
If you only had lemon juice, how would that taste?
Sure.
Fucking terrible, right? And then you add some sugar and it kind of balances everything out. It makes the lemon, you just get the flavor of the lemons rather than the acidity.
Right.
Same thing with champagne. I think those grapes are so tart, you add a little bit of sugar, you can't really taste the sugar. It's not like perceptibly sweet. It's just you're getting the flavor of the brioche and the, in this case, it's just it's so toasty, and the beautiful red fruit flavors are coming out rather than just that searing acidity. So it is quite a bit of sugar. And so when people go, Danielle, I'm getting a headache whenever I drink champagne, I'm like, well, yeah,
'Cause
you
drink
are.
6 bottles of
Well, that and it's got sugar, but it's worth it.
Absolutely.
My palate is the only thing that I can notice every time is if there's residual sugar in there. Like, it's just super sensitive to that. Not that I
Do you
don't
taste
like
that?
it. Yeah, I do, and
Yeah.
that's why I asked you, because
You like super dry wine.
I'm not
and you
clever
can
enough
taste,
to read the back of the label.
Neither was I
But
just
I
guessed.
I can, unless it's just extra brut and just almost nothing. Like
See,
almost
that's what
every
you
time.
like. You like searingly
The
dry.
zero, whatever
like
is naturally
brut zero.
yeah, brut zero for me is
Okay.
the best.
I like that too. I like that with food more.
Yeah.
But if I'm just hanging out with you guys drinking that, like
You're
I'm
winning.
pretty
You're happy.
happy.
So this kind of leads me into, I think we're going to have to do a champagne show, and we'll definitely have to have you back for that.
Hell yeah. Are you kidding me? Like, if you don't, I'll hunt. I know where you
Hunt
are.
you
I'll
down.
hunt you down and shoot you
Like,
like the dove that you referenced earlier.
We'll bring vintage champagne. We can do
Oh.
backdated. Bro,
No, vintage.
Okay.
we can.
It's
we
on the
will
books.
tear this up.
It's on the books.
It's on
We'll
the
have.
books.
Oh, we'll transport ourselves to Champagne.
Ah. Can you
Yes.
tell us a little bit about Champagne region in
Yeah.
general?
Just the
Absolutely.
elevator version.
The Elevate, yeah, sure. So it's actually the closest wine region to Paris. So if you're ever going to Paris and you skip out on Champagne, don't. It's like 45 minutes to an hour east of Paris on train, so go. Is it the most attractive wine region in France? No, but there's champagne there,
mean, it's
so
totally worth it.
it's whatever. You legally have to ferment your wines in the same way. It's all bottle fermentation, which sounds like wah to an average consumer. So I'm going to tell you that it's just fucking delicious and you should drink it no matter how it's fermented. But it's an expensive way of fermenting. It's actually, this way is the most difficult and expensive way of fermenting wine. So if you go, well, my Prosecco is $12 and my Champagne is $40 or $50, there's a reason for that. It isn't like the Champenois decided, years ago that they would just be elevated. This is the most complex, gorgeous sparkling wine, arguably, in the world, because it just has so many nuances. It has such a rich history, and it's just beautiful. So that's
I love it.
That's the elevator version.
My side note to Champagne, this is the thing, Champagne's only from Champagne.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
If it's not from Champagne, France, it's sparkling. Just for you average consumers out there, just because it has bubbles in it doesn't mean it's Champagne.
And then when you're talking about pairing, I'll add in my 2 cents here. Champagne is one of those unique wines that you can have before a fine dinner with, amuse-bouches, or midway through the meal. You can have it with red meat, white meat, seafood. You can have it with dessert. You can have it with your wife after the meal in bed.
Whoa!
I mean, it really is one of those
It's
things.
the second time, Quattro.
I know. I have a really hot
Bless
life.
you, Amy.
Really? Can I see a picture?
Yeah. Yeah, right. But my hidden pairing that I love, and I love introducing people to this, is champagne and fried chicken.
Oh, yes.
It's amazing. I try and have a champagne and fried chicken meal at my house every year, where everybody brings bottles of champagne, and
Do
I
you
make
want my number?
absolutely make a ton of fried chicken, and the greasy fattiness of the fried chicken pairs so well with the acidity and effervescence of the champagne. You all get toasted. You eat fried chicken. If you invite one of your wealthy friends and tell them to bring some caviar, it makes it, just over the top.
Okay,
But,
Quattro, do you remember Momofuku?
of course.
Yeah. We had Momofuku in Vegas,
Oh.
and the
Brad.
dish we had champagne with it, right?
I believe so.
I believe so.
To be honest, I don't really remember a whole lot about that.
Okay,
night.
I'll tell you. You know the Asian style, like bun taco things?
Yeah.
With fried chicken, caviar, and some kind of
Creme fraiche.
Creme fraiche.
It's like
on top.
truffled creme fraiche. They're stupid.
They gave us a whole can of caviar. It was
Oh
a
my
night to remember.
God,
Like,
y'all
It
are
was
the worst.
stupid. It was a night to
More the
remember that
best,
we
but-
don't remember.
I'll never forget that though. And it was a whole fried chicken, like a big fried chicken cut up right at our table.
It was so good.
I'll never forget that ever again, a champagne and fried chicken.
So if you're watching Eater Austin, my idea was to do a really expensive wine and fast food pairing. So do like amazing vintage champagne.
Eater Austin.
And like
Cristal.
and yeah, Cristal and
Ooh.
Chick-fil-A. Like that's what I really wanted to do because I thought that would be the most hilarious thing. So if anybody,
She just scored
Who
herself
is-
a third episode.
please, yeah, I
have
want
to
to
do-
do a fast, yeah, like I want like old dirty wines. I want the best wines on the table, and then I want like the grossest
Chicken
Sonic.
nuggets,
I want
McNuggets.
No.
McNugget. I want like
I think like
egg McMuffin
Popeyes.
type crap. Yeah, I want that because that juicy, that greasiness that you're
Totally.
talking about, and then this acidity.
totally.
God bless.
Okay, we got another show idea.
Well,
We need somebody writing all this stuff down. So Daniela, what are you doing these days?
I actually have my own company.
Oh, yeah.
It's called Sekt Wine Consulting, and Sekt actually is German for sparkling wine, as he pours me more. So
I know what I'm doing.
I actually specialize. I wine. Hi, I'm a wine consultant for a number of different companies. My passion is wine education, so I love doing like virtual wine classes. Now I have to be virtual, so it's forced me to use Zoom in a way that I never thought I would, and I love it.
All of us.
Exactly. I teach certification courses too. So for wine, I teach WSET classes, so levels 1 and 2. I consult on various startup projects. So if anybody wants to take a fun, really interesting wine class, whether you're a consumer, whether you're a professional, I can do that for you. And I that's really where my heart lies. I love it so much. I can't tell you how much I love it. And I'll make it fun. I don't make it nerdy. I don't make it unapproachable. I just drink with you.
You may
Have a
not
great
remember
time.
this. You may not remember this, but I took a Riesling class with you.
Yeah.
I want
At
to say
the
it was like
Rotten
a
Bunch.
coffee up north, right?
Yeah, the Rotten
and honestly, I hated Riesling until I took that class.
Really?
Yeah. And you referenced earlier about when you find the right wine or the right genre, it just
Yeah.
hooks you. And now
Really?
I'm hooked.
Oh, cheers to
I'm hooked,
that.
yeah.
Thank
I'll
you.
toast to that.
Yeah.
For those of you out there who want to put together a little like private class, we have to do it online right now, but she's your go-to. She knows her stuff, and it was entertaining and informative, and I drank some Rieslings that I never would have drank before. So
Well,
That's awesome.
Danielle,
for
we
that.
have your contact info right behind us. So if anybody wants to give her a call, please do. I'm sure you will not be disappointed. Well, thanks, guys.
that's it.
Daniela, it's been a pleasure.
Thank
Look forward to having
you.
you on again.
Yeah.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Salud.
Salud. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks.
All right.